Following studies from Nick Sager's project from the St Mary's Strength and Conditioning Masters. He wanted to investigate if different speeds of eccentric contractions were better for in-season performance in elite soccer players. We know that while strength training has consistently shown to enhance physical performance in soccer players, incorporating regular resistance training sessions during the in-season period is challenging for practitioners at the elite level due to the frequent fixture congestion and minimal recovery time to optimize match play performance. Elite soccer players experience increased fatigue across the season, resulting in reduced physical performance. And consequently, managing that fatigue, while also striving for positive adaptations to the applied stimuli, becomes important for the strength and conditioning coach. Resistance training generally consists of dynamic muscle actions that can be classified into two fundamental types, concentric and eccentric. When comparing force production between concentric and eccentric muscle actions, it is proposed that eccentric actions produce from 20 to 60% more force, whilst eliciting greater improvements in total concentric and eccentric strength. It is well established that developing eccentric strength is important for enhancing athletic movements, such as change of direction, speed, and vertical jump height. However, high-load eccentric muscle actions are associated with exercise-induced muscle damage and may lead to excessive fatigue in soccer players in season. Moreover, only a limited amount of research has focused on increasing the time under tension during submaximal eccentric intensities. Performing slower as opposed to faster submaximal eccentric actions may attenuate exercise-induced muscle damage and further enhance muscle strength during traditional resistance training programs. With the decrease in match running output and associated fatigue in professional soccer across the season, slow eccentric muscle actions may provide an additional metabolic stimulus that could be detrimental for short-term performance. Compared to slower, quicker, submaximal contractions have been shown to elicit greater eccentric overload, even at lower eccentric loads. Consequently, it is currently unclear if manipulating the eccentric muscle actions during a resistance training program could further enhance or indeed have a detrimental effect on athletic ability in professional soccer players. Therefore, the purpose of this study was to implement a short in-season resistance training intervention and to examine the effect of fast speed versus slow speed eccentric muscle actions on lower body strength, vertical jump height, sprint speed, and change of direction performance in elite soccer players during a competitive season. 22 elite level professional soccer players from the top division of the European League took part in this study, and they had a minimum of 2 years resistance training experience. Fitness testing was conducted in the middle of the season across February and March, where there was a period of 4 competitive matches. Participants were allocated into 2 resistance training groups that were balanced for position and starters versus non-starters, with 11 participants in each group. The fast speed eccentric duration group executed exercises with a 1-second eccentric phase, followed by a maximal intent concentric contraction. And the slow speed eccentric duration group performed a 4-second eccentric contraction with a maximal intent concentric contraction. Implementing a training protocol of 2 strength sessions per week across a 4-week period, the participants participated in 8 individual strength sessions, 4 with a higher volume and 4 with a lower volume. The table on your screen shows a full breakdown of the resistance training program. Participants were tested before and after the training for lower body strength, vertical jump height, sprint speed, and change of direction performance. Muscle soreness was collected as part of the club's internal monitoring process 48 hours after the higher volume resistance training session. And during all on-field training sessions and matches, players wore a GPS device. Total distance and sprint distance were recorded across each week and used to quantify external on-field training load. So what were the results? Well, changes in 1 rep max squat, counter movement jump, 20-meter sprint, and change of direction are presented in the figure on your screen. The ANCOVA revealed no differences between groups for predicted 1 repetition max. However, there was a moderate overall increase in 1 repetition max following training. The ANCOVA also showed no differences between groups for 20-meter sprint, but there was again a small overall improvement across both groups pre to post-intervention. Counter movement jump showed significant group effects with greater jump height in the 1-second group post-intervention. And finally, there were no differences between groups for change of direction. This figure on your screen shows muscle soreness, on-pitch total distance, and sprint distance across 4 weeks for the slow and fast groups. There was no difference between groups for muscle soreness, however there was a main effect across time, with muscle soreness significantly lower on weeks 2 and 3 and 4 compared to week 1. Total distance across the week also had an effect across time, but no differences between groups. Participants covered greater distance in weeks 2 and 4 compared to 1 and 3. Finally, there were no differences across weeks or between groups for sprint distance. So the aim of this study was to assess the effects of increasing time under tension during eccentric muscle actions on physical performance during this season in elite soccer players. The findings from this study suggest that shorter duration eccentric muscle actions are superior for increasing lower body jumping movements in season within elite soccer players. The increased time under tension of the eccentric muscle action may be detrimental to jumping performance and potentially not recommended for elite soccer players in season. A final observation from the study is that notable increases in lower body strength were found across a short resistance training period from only a single high volume and low volume resistance training session per week. From a practical standpoint, eccentric contractions duration during resistance training programs have no influence on changes in strength. Longer eccentric contractions attenuate counter-movement jump height and should be avoided during a professional soccer season. And finally, both sprint speed and change of direction is not limited by eccentric contraction duration during resistance training programs.